I'm Freddie Mercury, and I'm the lead vocalist of Queen.
Said, I study demonology and satanic things. Why do they use Beelzebub? And I suppose that's a legitimate question.
Why do we use it?
Yeah.
It's just why do we use anything? It doesn't necessarily mean I study demonology and things. I just love the word Beelzebub. It's a great word, isn't it?
I think it's kept the band together and so intact, the same personnel for so many years. That doesn't seem to be the motivating force with many other bands.
Oh, we love the money. If they say they don't like the money, they're talking out of their ass, to be honest.
Why haven't you done any interviews in the past few years?
Because I hate them.
Why?
I just hate them. I hate talking to people I don't really know. It's the media basically built me up being a real ogre and a tyrant on stage, because the way I come across on stage, I'm very volatile, and that's the only part they see of me. If I don't talk to everybody, so they don't really know the real me, and I don't think anybody will. And
how does it show itself? Yes,
I have tantrums. If something's not going right, I throw things. I could destroy a room in about 3 seconds. I used to be able to, but I don't do that anymore.
You say destroy a room, you mean like on tour, that kind of trashing of a hotel room?
Hotel room.
Like
sometimes it was even in my own apartment, and then it got a bit expensive, all those lalique vases being thrown at...
You did break a lalique vase, did you really?
Several.
Oh, those are thousands of dollars. Are you very, very rich?
I'm extremely rich.
Do you like being rich?
Of course.
What do you do with your money?
I flaunt it.
What do you do with your money?
I spend it.
You said the rest of the guys have houses in L.A. I assume you mean the other members of Queen.
Yeah, who do you think I meant?
What are their names again? No,
stop that shit.
Brian, May.
Brian, Roger, and John.
Yes.
I sometimes forget them too.
But you don't really hang out with them or anything, do you?
If I like them, I'll socialize with them now and again. It depends. But as a rule, I don't. They have very different characters, and they like different things. I like to go to ballet and opera and things. They don't like all that. They just keep going to rock and roll shows.
Why do you think you've managed to stay together working with them at this job in this business for all these many years? Now what? It was formed in 1971.
Why do you think we've lasted this long? Money, darling.
No, is that why you've lasted this long, or that's why you've stayed together for this long?
No, I think we kind of, underneath it all, we kind of like each other, and we like the music we make. That's basically it. If we didn't like the music that we were making, we'd say goodbye to each other, because there's nothing else left. But the music is still there. Basically, that's basically it.
And when you first came together, did you think were you very different then?
How do you mean? Oh yes, we were very.
You were very
hungry.
diverse personalities then.
Yes.
As well.
But at that time, we were sort of getting to know each other, and we had so much to sort of put across, and we were very hungry for a hamburger.
Anything, right?
Yes, we were just hungry. We just wanted to let it all out, and so we took it from there. And the thing about it is, the four of us sort of write very different songs, and so it's kind of it keeps us going. If everybody wrote the same kind of thing, and we all appeal to the same kind of people and everything, then it would be a bit boring. We just have four totally diverse personalities and different egos, and that runs riot, and that's good. So we still fight, and we still fight like kids. Every time I'm in the same room with Brian, there's, within 5 minutes we sort of...
Sparks fly.
I haven't hit him yet. But there's still time.
Is that a possibility, really?
Well, I bet you'd like to be there. No, he writes, especially now, we've total extremes. He's still into the heavy metal type of stuff, which is fine, I've just sort of moved away from it. I'm more into the black kind of thing. I like, more the disco, I like to try different things every time. And, in the early days we came through the heavy metal thing, and even after about the second album I started writing different kind of things. A heavy metal band doesn't have to just stick to heavy, big heavy merchant chords and things all the time. You can write. I'd like to think that I'm a songwriter. I liked, and I sort of forced the other three to do it. They hate me for it now because it didn't sell that much. I hate this thing about people thinking, oh, well, we've heard a Queen album, let's go and see this, their stations and see if it sounds the same. I think by now, people who come to see our shows know that it's not going to be exactly the same. We don't want it to be. How boring if we reproduce note for note what was on the album. They might as well sit at home and listen to the album with a few visuals thrown in. I'd like them to come and see that it's a show, it's entertainment, and our songs take on a different meaning when we do a stage show. So I mean, what they hear on record can be totally different to what they hear on stage. I mean, we deliberately do that, and we like that because some of the songs have that depth, I think, that where we can do it on an album, and when we do it in a show, we can totally twist it around, and we do what is best for the show. A song like "Love of My Life," which is a song from Night of the Opera. I mean, it's very classical and it's got lots of musical instruments on the album, and when we do it on stage, it's just me and Brian. I mean, Brian just plays an acoustic guitar, and I just sing it, and it's a very good song for rapport. I mean, I like to get the audience participating with me, and most of the time I let them sing the song because they're into that. So I mean, I basically conduct that song, and I love the fact that they just sing it. So it's totally different from what they hear on an album.
What happened with David Bowie with Pressure?
Nothing. We just went into the studio, did the song, and out it came. It wasn't a big.
No, but I mean, wasn't there this whole drama about him taking his name off of it or wanting to not be?
No, that was something else. He did sort of like backing vocals on one of my songs that was on the album then. That's not Under Pressure, that's another one.
Right.
And when it came to being released, I mean, he didn't like what he did. That was like, asshole tells me right at the tail end when the thing is just about to come out. So anyway, as artistic license, he just didn't like his voice right when it was about to come out. And I said, fine. I said, it's quite easy. All I do is erase his vocal and out it came. It wasn't like he didn't do a very in-depth vocal at all. It was just a background. It was just background vocals. So I mean, he just didn't. Do you
think it was petty? I mean, do you think it was unnecessary?
Whatever. I think it was unnecessary, but I mean.
Are you not speaking to each other?
Always speaking. It's just we're in different parts of the world, and. Well, I'm not one of those bitchy queens that you like to. No. It's just. No, he's all right. He's okay.
How did you happen to work with him in the first?
Well, I mean, we were friends from a long time back, and we were in Montreux in Switzerland. We own a studio there, so we were working on it, and he lives there. He just happened to be there, and he kept coming to the studio, listening to our tracks, and we were jamming to some of his old songs and things. And then one night we were having dinner, and after that we were going back into the studio to carry on with the session, and it just happened. He just said, "Oh, why don't we just fool around and get something started and see what happens?" And we started playing on the piano, and the rest of the band were there, and we started putting something down, and Under Pressure started to build.
To get together with Michael Jackson and work with him?
Well, just in the early days, well, I mean, like 3-4 years ago, I mean, he used to just come and see our shows at the Forum in LA, and I guess he liked us, and so I got to meet him, and he kept coming to see us, and then we started talking, and in those days, I think he would actually go out. He'd go out and have dinner or something. I remember going to dinner with him, and I think now he just stays at home. He doesn't like coming out at all. That's what he says. I mean, he says, oh, whatever he wants, he can get at home, because I mean, anything he wants, he just buys it.
But have you talked to him about, I mean, just in terms of being an artist, or in terms of a song?
Well, I mean,
to stay in the house like that kind of isolation, that's so scary.
I know, that's not me, but I mean, that's his bag. And I wouldn't do that. I mean, I'd be bored to death. I mean, I have to go out every night. I mean, I hate staying in one room for too long anyway. I'd just like to keep moving. It was just an individual approach, I don't know. I mean, I guess he's just because he started when he was very young. So, I mean, when you think about it, when I'm talking to him, I think, my God, he's 25, I'm 37, yet he's been in the business almost longer than I have, because he started that young. And for me, it's sort of quite frightening when I'm talking to somebody who's 25 and you think somebody who was 22 or 25 has just been starting out or whatever, and I could sort of teach him a few tricks, but not Michael. I think one of the tracks would have been on the Thriller album if I'd finished it. But I missed out.
Do you think people steal from each other in rock and roll a lot?
All the time.
Do you?
All the time, yeah. But there's stealing, and there's robbing, and there's sort of murdering. So I mean, it just depends. I mean, everybody steals, and sometimes you steal without even thinking it. That can be good. I mean, it's just. I mean, I don't sit down and listen to everybody and say, okay, I'm going to snatch that phrase or whatever. I mean, I can get influence. Like Aretha Franklin's like phrasing is just wonderful. I wish I could sing like her. Her phrasing is just so beautiful. I mean, it's so effortless, and it's just, she just sings like a dream. It's just like, she doesn't have to think about it. I mean, when I have to sing, I think about it. I think, okay, I have to and I sort of practice a few phrases and then do it. Whereas I can tell by just listening to Aretha Franklin's records that, I mean, she just goes and then just it's effortless. Having said that, I'm sure she'd call me up and say, wait a minute, I go in there and do... No, but it just sounds so effortless, and it's all sort of spontaneous phrasing and things, which is what I love, and I sometimes try to do that on it's like a song called Somebody to Love. I mean, that was the gospel element, and when Aretha was doing all the gospel stuff, I just loved that, you know, the big, humongous choir behind her, all sort of like tidal waves behind her, singing, you know. That's what I liked, and that's one element of Queen, because I mean the multi-tracking harmonies and all that, you know, there's various ways of doing harmonies, and the gospel side of harmonies is just stupendous.
How long did it take you to get to the point where you could manage your own business affairs? I mean, you have gone through a few managerial changes and problems.
Yes, well, that's how long it takes. I mean, I don't think anybody can manage straight away unless they're very lucky, and unless they know. You've got to know the business, and the only way you get to know the business is to make mistakes and have pitfalls, and I think every major successful artist has gone through that. I refuse to believe that somebody's just had no problems at all and just managed to do it like that. I think that's all part of a history, all part of a band's history. They have to go through all that. You know, they get, you know, there are a lot of sharks around, and you get done in. You know, people rob you blind, money, but that's all part of it. And then you learn by your mistakes, and then you know which people not to employ, and where you think, okay, you just have to take control of this situation yourself. And that's what we did. I mean, after a while, I mean, the managers were good, they were bad, they were good, or whatever. It just happened there came a point in time where we thought, we can do this ourselves. Okay, it's a bit more work, but I mean, we've gained the experience, and we can do it ourselves. Besides, we make more money anyway. You don't have to give a percentage to your manager.
Is there one person in the group, do you do more of it than anybody else?
No, I think we all do, as far as that side is concerned, we all partake in that individually. It's like 25%, to be honest, all four of us, because we all do different things. Like John's very, very good at the actual business sense, the actual sort of money side of it, the marketing and everything, so we leave that to him, and